and do that. Okay. We should be coming through there.
Yep.
That
Okay.
okay.
We're
Cool.
good now.
Hey,
Hi, everybody.
Hi, I'm Bobby. That's Chase. We're the Casual Hour. It's episode 414, and that is none other than our March monthly preview. We're going to tell you about the video games coming out this month. We could not do that without telling you about the games we picked last month and if they were any good. And we'll also let you know what games we think you should play that have either come out or are coming out this month. We'll tell you a few other games that we're playing. There's been some stuff that I've been preoccupied with. And I gifted Chase a game to avoid another segment you'll see later on, which is wheel that seems to grow more than it spins. I don't know how that works.
That's not true.
I don't know, Chase. I think you're putting more games on it than you're playing.
Okay, here's the deal.
What's the in-out ratio here?
I put one new game on it today.
Okay.
So the wheel did not change from last month to this month.
The wheel in the sky keeps on turning.
That
Chase.
Wheel used to have 100+ games on it. It has 75 right
It's
now.
wheel to me, damn it.
Stop it.
It's wheel to me.
That wheel has gotten smaller. I have done my work.
That wheel maybe has gotten smaller, but my anger and spite has not. No, I kid. I kid. Despite all my rage, we are still just a backlog on a wheel on the internet. But we have got some fun stuff to talk about. It would be unrealistic, unheard of, and not fair for you and I to go any further into this episode without just saying congratulations to Ground Shatter on releasing Nights in Tight Spaces this week. We are thrilled for you all. We are even more thrilled to get to play that game and tell you all about it here in a little bit. But that game came out on the 4th of March, so it's been out for a day. And I gave that game to Chase as a gift because I'm a nice person and I don't want to hear I'm waiting for it to come to the Switch. So this is
you won't. Now I'll be saying I'm waiting for it to come to the Switch too. It's different. It's that little bitty thing, you know? It's not the same.
It's it's not sexy. But let's get into it. We've been busy. I certainly have. Chase, I have seen credits on Monster Hunter Wilds.
Jesus, that was fast.
It was, and I want to talk about it.
I mean, that's not the end of the game, though.
No, my God. It's actually the beginning.
Sure.
I have yet to play a game that is basically the South Park, we play the game now, as much as this has been. Monster Hunter Wilds came out on the 28th of February. It is the follow-up. People seem to say it's the follow-up to Worlds more than it's the follow-up to...
well, I mean, from...
Rise.
Rise,
yeah.
Because it's using the same engine as World, and Rise was.
I think it's using is it the same engine as Worlds? I know that it was the one from. I guess Dragon's Dogma 2 is on that same one. It's that engine.
It's the same art style. It's the same, high quality, high fidelity, high resolution stuff that you didn't get from Rise. That Rise, because it was on the Switch initially, at least.
Yes, true.
Like
That's
was,
true.
It felt like a different thing. It certainly wasn't a side game. Like that was a proper ass Monster Hunter game, but it was just also different.
Different.
So this
for
one's
sure.
kind of more going back to the roots, I guess, of Monster Hunter World.
And I think that Monster Hunter Wilds is by far the most approachable the game's ever been. And if you look at those two games, if you look at Rise and if you look at Worlds, you can see that they have just been building confidence and refining and really dialing in this game. And I think they get it most of the way there. There's still a very awkward and just borderline worse than Nintendo approach to online. And it really sucks because this game is really built on that mechanic, especially in Wilds, which is their quote unquote like first open world Monster Hunter game. And it's just downright confusing as ever because you can create a guild, and that is like your fastest way of just having people that you care about easily accessible to play with. But it's also like you have what's called a link party. And imagine that's like their own version of just like, hey, you can be chatting with people. Like if I say, hey, join my link party, you could be off doing your shit in the game and we're not really doing anything if it's just us out in the world. You can then invite your link party to an environment party. And if they're in your environment, then you all are sharing this instance of the world where you can
This starts to sound like a Ponzi scheme.
It's a Ponzi scheme. But if you're just running missions and stuff, it's a lot easier to get people in there with it. So that is the one thing I would like to lead with on like a frustration for me, because everything else about this game has just been absolutely incredible. The campaign, this is like the most campaign I've seen in a Monster Hunter game. It's fine. It's certainly not what I'm here to do. And I think if you are showing up to a Monster Hunter game for the plot, you are in the wrong fucking business, baby. Like, this game is all about big dumb battles, and the monsters are great. There's some really cool new ones. There are some classics that are there already, and there's more on the way. But what I think does work really well for this game is its open world setting. And they've done some really interesting ways on how monsters are entered in and how they're roaming, or if they're in a herd or a pack. There's a lot more of this really cool kind of organic living, breathing ecosystem that you are in. And you have a new mount. It's called a secret. Yeah, secret. It looks somewhere between a raptor and a chocobo is how I would describe it. You can put armor on it. It can climb, run, fly a little bit. All the things that you would experience from Rise on mobility, they've brought here. And what I think works really well about this mechanic in this game is you get knocked around a lot. I know one of the things that you have, I think there's multiple versions you have to this franchise, but from what you've shared in the past, the whole concept of sharpening your weapon really turns you off.
Yeah,
and
not a fan. Not a fan of sharpening, not a fan of cooking mid-battle. Like just the like taking off time to not be in the battle while the battle's happening, especially if you're playing alone, because that's almost impossible. That's never really appealed to me. And I know they've tried to make strides in that, making your palico like more useful and more self-sufficient, and having more multiplayer, making the multiplayer easier to be a part of. While still sounds like it's not easy. They've been making strides at that, but yeah, it's just never quite appealed to me. Plus, you add in the style of combat that is very, I wouldn't call it Dark Souls, because
I mean, I think that there's something to be said about that, though. I mean, back in the day, before those games, I certainly think this kind of set that bar in a way. Like,
yeah, like that animation priority stuff of
totally,
like really picking your spots. It's interesting to me. It's just not something I would like to play myself.
The mobility stuff that I really appreciate is if you do get knocked down and you're in a recovery state, what really sucks is, and the game's designed this way, monsters kind of get you in a very vulnerable position, and then they're going to do a big attack. You can just call your mount when you get knocked on your ass, and it just picks you up. Like, you're a little bit dazed on it, but it's a great way to get out of hell's way and heal up and sharpen, because you can be mobile now and doing all those things. You're just kind of like working around, and then you can jump off and start an attack. So the getting out, getting in, really cool. They've added in another ability that I think is great. If you are on your mount, you can have a secondary weapon stored on it. So you really now have two builds when you go out and do the game. And I am a hammer main, a very close second. Like, I don't play with it, but mechanically it's very similar, which is the hunting horn. And if you're not buffing your team, it's somewhere between a hammer and like a bard is what you're doing here. That seems like something I could throw on a battle bard. Yeah. So if I was like, okay, cool, I've got people doing some big damage, I don't have to break parts any longer, I'm going to hop out, get my horn, and buff everybody up. I think that's a really cool idea on it. But there's just all these really great quality of life abilities. Like, when you are out in the world and you're on your map, you can make these wish lists, and monsters will move sometimes in herds and packs, and then you have to find the alpha in it. And you have to, either take them all on or find a way to like disperse them with like dung pods and things of that nature. But it becomes less of a grind than I think the other games are, because usually I will play one of these games until I get to credits and there's no more missions, because climbing the ranks beyond where you're at has always been really problematic, because it is hard to get those drops. Like, you remember running multiple strikes in Destiny to get a god roll on shit. Like, it's the same thing here where you're building your stuff out, but they've made it so much better. Like, the post game or end game on this is really just awesome, man, because you can create quests on monsters. They will show you exactly what they're dropping. And then if I put a quest marker on a monster and we're in a link party, I can just invite you to go and be on this quest with me. It feels fantastic. The mechanics are better than ever in it. They've dialed in movement and they've added things in for each weapon. Like, this is going to sound like this is really inside baseball, but if you are a listener and you appreciate Monster Hunter, you'll appreciate what I'm saying. They have these like counter hits, which are almost like guaranteed to knock back or knock over a monster. They're very cool, but every weapon has a different way of doing it. Some is just you hold and charge. Another one is you're going to have to time it. Hammer, which I use, is a 3-hit combo. The third swing is always going to be that counter hit. So you want to time it to where you can, if you got a monster charging, you hit it with it, you're going to knock it on its ass. In the past, you would start your combo, boom, 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 hit it. But if you got hit or moved, your combo stopped. Now I can hit, sidestep, and still be on the count of 1, hit again, 2, and sidestep. And then I can even just hold. So I hit the third hit, and now your character is holding it. And it's brief, not forever.
Yeah.
But I can do this even if the monster is not present. Hold that counter hit, let it charge, knock it over, and start breaking parts. Every weapon has something that they've dialed in that way that just makes really good sense. So we didn't stream it last week. I was really tired and just wanted to kind of play the game and not have to be on. This week, though, we are going to stream it on Friday. I am thrilled to have it. It is just one of the best things I've played this year. It's one of my most anticipated games of the year, if not the most. And it has met and exceeded those expectations. And I'm just very happy to be back out there hunting. It's great.
Very cool, man. I'm happy for you.
And I'm not going to talk about it this week, but I will just say, as I mentioned at the top of the show, I have been playing Nights in Tight Spaces, and it's very good. And I'll go into more detail on that next week. Oh no, we won't be on next week, so in a couple weeks. But yeah, it's been great.
Very cool. Yeah, I hope to get some time with it too here at some point soon.
I played it with a controller for the first time on my handheld, and it was not bad at all. Worked really well.
Yeah, I believe that. I mean, Fights in Tight Spaces also worked just fine when it did eventually come to Switch. So I'm not surprised that Kits plays just as well.
Very cool. What have you been up to?
I've been up to a handful of things, like nothing super exciting. I've played some more of the Digimon Adventure game for PSP.
Oh yeah, that was your last spin, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Still having a pretty good time with that, and trying to put about an hour into it every couple days or so. I don't know if it goes through the entire show, the entire anime, or if it's just kind of I don't know
okay, gotcha. I'm with you now.
That it hits, yeah. But we'll see. I'm still having a pretty good time. It's not perfect, as I talked about last week, but I'm just kind of enjoying playing it.
That's great, man. That's great.
I've also played a little bit more Warriors Abyss, which is still pretty cool. It's starting to wear out its welcome a little bit with me. I've collected most of the characters that I like from those series, and so there's less stuff for me to chase, even though there's still a lot of stuff to chase. Stuff that I'm characters that I am not really familiar with. A lot of Samurai Warriors guys that I just don't know or don't really care about as much. Or people from Dynasty Warriors factions I don't like as much, but that game is still interesting. I like a lot of what it's doing, even though it's still a little opaque in how some of the mechanics work or some of the buffs work.
Sure.
I think they found a relatively solid system for that kind of roguelike approach, and I think you could do a couple things to make it a little bit more inviting to some players, but overall I think that's a pretty solid little game, especially for something that we had no idea was coming out and they just kind of shadow dropped on that.
Yeah, that was state of play. Just here you go, here's your slop, enjoy it.
Yeah.
That's great, man.
I started, but played so little of that I don't really feel like I can talk too much about it. Stories from Soul, the Gun Dog.
Is this
Which,
the like really cool kind of cyberpunky comic book looking one?
no, this is the game. Well, maybe, but like this is the one
Game
that has
Boy.
like the Game Boy graphics.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah,
yeah.
I know what you're
So
talking about.
it's an adventure game kind of visual novel-y thing that's space stuff, very anime, but it's got those Game Boy graphics. Now it does have like a vivid mode that you can turn on that colorizes the graphics, so it looks a little bit more modern. And it
Cool.
also seems to have like a demake mode where you can like
What?
this is not a port to my knowledge. This isn't a remake or anything like that, but it does seem like if you want like the graphics to look old and super shitty, you can make them like that, or you can make them look nice but with the Game Boy kind of filter on it, or you can use the vivid, which is we'll just put it in color for you.
All right.
Which just kind of weird that it has those three different settings. Seems like a lot of art assets to make. But I've been having a pretty solid time with the little bit I have played, just being on that kind of middle setting of the nice, sharp looking graphics, but having that kind of Game Boy filter on it.
Hell yeah.
So I've only really gotten through the prologue, which was mostly a visual novel. I just got to the part where it's giving you adventure game look, talk,
Oh,
interact with
sure. Yes. Do
kind
this
of
thing.
on-screen buttons. Yeah, the text prompts, and so I'm just starting to get in there. But so far, I
Is
think
it
the
long?
writing's pretty solid. I don't think it's very long, no,
Okay.
but the writing so far has been pretty solid. I'm actually a little impressed with it. So hopefully, when we're back in a couple weeks, I'll have put a lot more time into that and can speak more to it.
Yeah, man. I'm curious to hear more about that one.
Yeah, but the game I've spent the most time on in the last couple weeks has been Dynasty Warriors Origins. I've been going back to that a lot and just still having a really great time. I mean, mechanically, from a combat perspective, I think the game is really fun. I like the way that you're continuing to find new power up moves
Sure.
as you go on. The moves that you kind of have to like hold R2 and then use, and you can start mastering those moves to make them more powerful or to give them more utility, and that's been really cool. I have my faction now. I'm with my Woo boys, which
You're a woo,
I'm very
a
happy
woo
with.
boy. That's
I
cool.
love my Woo boys, um, and that's been I now that I've kind of like chosen my faction, the other two are cut off, and so we're starting to kind of get into the actual Three Kingdoms this of the story, and that's pretty cool to me. I know there's like one big thing that still has to happen before I can get into
Oh,
the Three Kingdoms part of stuff,
okay.
which is not really a spoiler. It's very ancient history. The leader of Wu has to die. Actually, his father already
Oh
died. He needs to
no.
die, so then his younger brother can take over, and his younger brother's the one who more or less holds down the fort through the rest of the Three Kingdoms time. So I'm just kind of waiting for Sansa to
Kick the
kick
bucket.
rocks.
Yeah.
Yeah, but once he does, then I think things are going to start kicking in high gear.
When we're off
So
next week, I'm going to be traveling, and I went ahead and downloaded that to my ally, so I'll have
nice.
that on the go, and that should be something I can play on the plane and at the hotel, and
Yeah, absolutely. Like
do that.
the way those missions work, the bigger missions are maybe like 20-25 minutes each. And that's like a good amount of
Totally.
playtime. But if you just need something that's 5 or 10 minutes, the smaller little random missions that pop up are perfect for that too.
Yep.
I will say my only real annoyance as I continue to play that game is I think I've decided I don't mind the self-insert character. I know I was a little disappointed that I couldn't directly play as the characters in the Three Kingdoms games like I could in previous Dynasty Warriors games. But so but I've decided like okay, it's fine. I don't mind being my own character. It's kind of cool that I get to be my own guy and flow through the story the way I want to and choose my faction. I like that system, but they did so much at the beginning of the game to go, oh, your guy has amnesia,
Yeah.
like you're such a self-insert, it's fine. I was like, okay, great, yeah, sure, that's fine. I don't want like a big long story for my guy. And now the game's going like, what if there was a big long story for your guy? It's like, I don't give a
Yeah, we don't
shit
care.
about
Like,
my
just
guy. He's not, yeah, he's
yeah,
not part of history. This is all fake. This is all
yeah.
bullshit. And everybody's treating me like I'm the next greatest fucking thing ever. And I'm like, I just want to like be around while the heroes like do their shit. Like I should be like a footnote here. And it's very weird the way everybody is treating me like, "Oh, you know, you're from this clan who's going to end up being lost to time." And you know, it's so a lot of guys are like, "You know, it's you do a lot on the battlefield and nobody really gives you the credit for it." And I was like, "Okay, like this is their way of saying, "Oh, history just forgot that I was the one who
Right.
killed thousands of dudes in every single battle." Yeah, history just kind of waved that away.
Oh
That part's been
no.
kind of lame to me. I wish they would just not acknowledge it or have me be like a Gordon Freeman style character of just like standing there not really saying anything.
Yes.
And for the most part, they do. But I guess similar to Half Life, Gordon Freeman's actually extremely important despite not saying anything.
Well,
And
that's
I kind
fair.
of just, I kind of just wish I was a dude on the sidelines. And that's just not the case. So it's fine. I like the cutscenes where I get to talk to people or where I get to see the other people interact and have these really like historical moments together. But there's too many of like your doctor friend going, "Oh, let's go back to your village and you can have another vision of how things used to be and you can see these other two characters that we totally met up for this game and some weird moral quandaries that don't matter at all." And I'm just like, I just want to fight Sao Sao, man.
Yeah. Let me go
I just
fight.
want to see the three brothers in the peach garden. I just want to God damn it. I just want to fight Lubu. Like, stop. Stop doing this. Stop doing this. And then I still, am frustrated at the cutscenes, which still make me button through the dialogue, but don't smoothly move
Sure.
the story forward that way. It's jarring and it's a lot of button pressing because there's a lot of dialogue, and
There's a lot of dialogue for sure in
there
that
is,
one.
and it's not even like they're pulling a lot of it from the book.
Sure.
Like the book is long. There's so much you can pull from
Yeah.
the book, and they do. They pull a lot of stuff from the book, but because they're trying to make like a full video game, they're adding in like a bunch of side stuff and trying to like add more to characters, and especially because they're all talking to your self-insert character, they all have to like talk about their relationship with you. And I was like, this is
Oh,
just like a bunch of extra lines
yeah.
that don't mean
Taken away from
anything.
the plot.
We're not moving the plot of this game or the information from the book forward. Like we're just kind of fucking
Yeah. What are we
around,
doing here?
and there's so much to do. I wish we weren't just fucking around when there's so much left. Um, but again, overall, I've been having a really fun time. I think
That's
the
great.
the battles themselves are more dynamic and fun than they've ever been, and I'm finding a lot to like in it. So I kind of keep coming back
Fuck
for
yeah.
a couple hours every once in a while, and it's been good. It's I don't know if it's one of my favorite Dynasty Warriors games yet or not. There's a
Okay.
couple I might put over the top of it, but um, it's got a lot of really good stuff going for
I
it. And
think it's cool.
I'm glad it's been catching more people. It seems like you, like
Yeah.
it kind of caught you this week.
Yeah. I'm digging it for sure.
Impressed.
Digging it for sure. All right, that was an update on Monster Hunter Wilds and a check-in on a few things. Warriors Abyss, Dynasty Warriors Origins. There was another one in there.
Yeah, stories from Soul, the gun dog.
Yes, the gun dog. Chase has been busy, and we will be checking on those games in a few weeks when we get back in here. But why don't we check in on what games we said we were going to play in February, Chase, and
Sure.
find out how we did there. Did we get it right? Finally?
Yeah. Why don't I start on this one?
Yeah.
So I had Stories from Soul, the Gun Dog.
Yeah, gun dog.
Which again came out real late in February. So I just got it downloaded and I just played that little bit of it. So we'll talk about it more soon. Seguro Quest Dice Heroes, which I did play and I talked about. Was that last week or 2 weeks ago?
Last week.
Yeah. And that's fun. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like a little side thing, but I think it can be really fun, especially if you just kind of play with the cheats and see what's there. I think that's a totally fine little experience, and the monetary value, I think it was just $5. Not too much to jump into, but pretty neat. And then Keep Driving, which I didn't play any of. That was a PC only game, so I was probably never going to
Sure.
end up playing it.
Sure.
But I think that's one that we said we might want to
Yeah.
do in some form or fashion for Casual Monday sometime.
Yeah, I think it'll be a fun one to break up what we got going on there. It's a cool game. I could probably use your eyes and ears on it. It's a little bit more involved than what I thought it would be, but excited to check that one out with you.
Yeah, same here. So for you, you had Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, and I think we've heard you mention you like that game.
I love that game. I'm having so much fun with that game.
Yeah. You talked about it for a couple weeks now. It does sound.
I'm still playing it. Yeah, just I'm at the point now where I'm clean it up and get to the next segment of the map, and I'm just wrapping up a few little side quests before I move the story forward again. But the story shit's been great.
Yeah.
It's cool.
You also had Keep Driving, which we talked about.
Yeah.
You have Avowed, which I remember you being really hot on, and then it seemed like the ending kind of soured you a little bit.
It didn't. It wasn't what it was. I just think that it became a little repetitive, but I still like. I had a fantastic time with it. I think it's a very cool game. I just wanted a little bit more variety in my RPG versus World 1 is just harder, World 2 harder, World 3, and then 4. It's a shorter. I mean, again, you can critical path that thing, probably beat it in 15 hours, which that's great for an RPG that's this competent. That's really fun.
Not bad.
Yeah.
And then Monster Hunter Wilds, which you just
talked about. Love it.
Tonight. So let's move on and talk about some free stuff. How does that sound?
I love free.
All right. Well, we'll start with PlayStation Plus. We have a few games here. Actually, I think it's a pretty solid month for PlayStation Plus Essential here. You're getting Dragon Age: The Veilguard for PS5, which Bobby, you seem to enjoy that game, right?
Yeah, I mean, that one definitely wore out its welcome, and I think the further I got into it, the writing got really rough.
Yeah. What if it was free though?
Oh, absolutely, check it out. Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm sure I will be adding it to my library. I don't know if I'm going to be playing it anytime soon, but I can at least do that much. Sonic Colors Ultimate for PS4.
I don't know if I know that one.
I've heard mixed things about Sonic Colors. It was originally a Wii game, and it's got like the wisps, and the wisps like give you they're color coded little ghosty guys, and they give you different powers as you go through. I think it caught some people, and then was still some people's not favorite. I think it didn't exactly go through the Sonic cycle, but it didn't quite shatter things like some people wanted it to. And then Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Cowabunga Collection, which that's a lot of video games.
It is
in one collection.
Actually, this just reminded. I forgot to tell you this, and I'll tell everybody this. We played some stuff on the Steam Next Fest. That was a really great time. There's a game that we did not cover on the show. We haven't even talked to each other about it. Have you heard of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Tactical Takedown?
I don't think I have.
Have you heard of Strange Scaffold? They're a developer and a producer.
Kind of.
I Am Your Beast. They made I Am Your Beast. They made the one about the black market for organs.
Okay. Yeah, I remember you.
So they've got a straight up turn-based Turtles tactic game that like gives me some definite fights in tight spaces vibe meets a little bit more. Dude, you will lose your shit with this one. It is awesome. Yes. So I've got to talk to you about it. We did not play it on the show. The demo is still available. It's really fucking cool. These guys are just making like they're hitting step after step. Anyway, Turtles games. There's a lot there. There's another one coming, not included in this bundle. Sorry.
Yeah. These are all classic games in the Cowabunga collection. But I played a lot of that NES game that was not very good. But I played a lot of it, and then of course the arcade games, Turtles in Time, and that kind of stuff. So you can't beat free. It's on PS4 and PS5. And I'm sure I'll be grabbing that for my library as well. Bobby,
Totally.
I'm going to throw it over to you to tell me about some Game Pass releases. What do we got?
We got quite a bit going on here this month. Some of these are old, but coming to the service again. Monster Train being the one that kicks that off. If you are listening to this, you can play Monster Train on Game Pass, and you should. The other one is Galacticare. Then followed up by that, you have One Lonely Outpost. Enter the Gungeon. You've played that one, right?
Yeah,
you like that quite a bit.
I like. I think there's some annoyances in it. It's not my favorite roguelike, for sure, but I think there are some really fun parts. There's like an alphabet gun there's just one of my favorite guns of all time. It's just shooting letters. It's fantastic. It's not very good. It's just cool to look at.
I should mention One Lonely Outpost is also a day one release, so that's coming out day and date on Game Pass. This was a Next Fest demo that you and I checked out, not this most recent one, but the one before it. Mullet Mad Jack. This was that really cool, looked like a boomer shooter in a way, but super hyper stylistic. It was a lot of fun. That one was cool. I'm gonna definitely check that one out. I never picked it up, thought it looked rad, but cool to see it on the Game Pass. And then two big games that are day and date also. 33 Immortals we'll talk about in just a minute. It's going to be a game preview, and then Atom Fall is a day one release on Game Pass. But to make room for those, you're losing Evil West, Lies of P, MLB The Show 24, No More Heroes 3, Solar Ash, SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated, Yakuza 5 Remastered, Yakuza 6 The Song of Life. A lot of those Yakuza games are jumping ship from Game Pass. I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah, I mean, that's a Sega thing. So
yeah.
Sega owns all that shit. So I'm sure there's some licensing things going on there.
But that's what's happening on Game Pass.
That's a lot of big games.
A lot of big games on Game Pass this month.
Also, gonna make a little correction in the show here. It's not an alphabet gun. It's a lowercase r, which looks like a gun. But it shoots in a burst, a 6-round burst, and the 6 rounds spell out a bullet. So it is still shooting letters, but all the letters just spell bullet every time you shoot. It's still fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the gun's just pretty cool.
Nice.
All right, Bobby has a wheel pulled up. I think we're going to be spinning it.
We are spinning the wheel. Come on, be a good one.
Last month was a good one.
For you. Yeah.
And that's what matters. It's all for me. Oh, I like that. I like that look. Oh no! Yes! More Three Kingdoms!
God damn it.
Bobby, you're going to be excited about this one. It's only available on PC. I have to play this game on my personal computer. You love me playing games on my personal computer.
Is this one on Game Pass?
I don't know.
I think it was. Let's check that really quick.
Yeah. Oof. This might actually be too much Three Kingdoms.
This is a big game too.
I'm already technically playing 2 Three Kingdoms games. Bobby, I'm gonna make an executive decision here. I'm gonna say respin the wheel.
Okay. It was on Game Pass for a while.
Okay. I'm gonna keep this on the wheel, and
all right.
maybe for another month I will play Total War Three Kingdoms. I'm deep in the Three Kingdoms hole right now. So Bobby gets a second chance to be excited.
I don't know if I am.
Okay, yeah, Breath of Fire. There you go. That's a classic JRPG.
Oh, this is Capcom, right?
I believe that's right. Yeah. This is something that I can play on my Analog Pocket, which I'm very excited about. So, yeah, Breath of Fire. That seems like a more doable thing than trying to put a lot of time into yet.
I'm removing it.
Kingdoms game when
it's gone.
I mean, it doesn't matter what you do. I have to do it from my wheel. You're using
I don't have to see it again.
That's true. You don't. So I'll make.
It's not going to bother. It's not going to be a bother to me any longer.
Breath of Fire. I was a little bit excited and/or worried that it was going to be Suikoden 1, which would have been really fitting because.
We'll talk about it in a moment.
We're about to talk about it.
Yeah.
But let's get into the games of March.
Yeah.
And we'll start with March 4th, where Carmen
Where
Sandiego.
in the world is Carmen Sandiego?
It's everywhere. It's worldwide, I believe. I think this has a worldwide
I used to
release.
play the shit out of these games, man.
Yeah, this is maybe not like the games you remember from
I
what I'm seeing
I
here.
would hope not, but I enjoyed them back in the day.
Yeah, I mean those. So Carmen Sandiego used to be an educational
Yeah, they
series of
showed it a little bit at
software.
the beginning of that trailer.
Yeah, yeah. I don't believe that was this gameplay. I think it was just
No,
showing the old gameplay
yeah,
stuff of yeah, but
yeah,
like the whole point was learning geography
mm-hmm.
and using like spy, clue, espionage style stuff to figure out where in the world was Carmen Sandiego
Yeah.
at the time. So
Red
you were
hat,
kind
red
of
coat.
yeah, you were solving a mystery but also learning about geography at the same time. It was Mario is missing but good.
Yes, yes,
This game, which is coming to PC, Switch, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, and mobile, you are actually playing as Carmen Sandiego for what they say is the first time, which to
huh?
me defeats the whole fucking purpose of the
Yeah,
game.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I
I
don't know about this one.
I don't know. This is not. I'm not gonna say and be like, this isn't my Carmen Sandiego. It just,
Yeah,
different. Maybe it's good. Maybe
yeah,
not.
I mean it looks like it has like stealth elements to it from what I'm
Sure.
seeing here. There's like some vehicle segments,
Yeah, of
some
course.
light platforming that's happening. It still looks like there's some puzzly stuff, so you are learning a little bit through there, but it definitely doesn't seem like the educational software it used to be, which
Not at
probably
first
means it
glance.
sells better. But at the
Yeah,
same time, you think about the educational game pillars out there, your Oregon Trails, your Carmen San Diego's, and you're like, there weren't a whole lot of it. Like Carmen
no
San
Math
Diego had a
Blaster.
niche. Yeah, and Carmen San Diego had a niche of
Yeah.
cornering that market, and now it just kind of looks like every other game. And I don't
Yep.
know if that excites me that much. Did you ever watch the Carmen San Diego television show, the game
Oh
show?
yeah, totally.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I watched way more of that than I actually played the games growing up. But
totally, man.
yeah, good stuff. But we'll see about this game. I don't know. I'm being pessimistic because I have a fondness for what that series was before.
Yeah.
Let's move on to another game on the 4th. Everhood 2 comes to PC and Switch. We were pretty fond of the first Everhood.
Yeah. We did a quick look for it. I think you went into it a little bit more than I did. But
I beat that game, yeah.
yeah, it was a very cool thing.
Mm-hmm. And it got fucking hard.
Yeah.
And I certainly didn't do everything that you can do in that game. That game has some real motherfucker shit in there. But this one seems like it's just doing more.
Yeah.
There's a hell of a lot more here. And one of the big systems that I'm seeing here, it's kind of got like some Ikaruga vibes where you are your character is a color and you get to absorb
Yeah.
the notes that are coming down of that color, but you have to still avoid the notes of the opposite colors, which could be kind of interesting. I
It
don't
was
know
a
if it makes
weird
it
game,
easier or
dude.
harder. Oh, it definitely was weird. Like it was going for that kind of Earthbound style,
Yeah.
but dark and weird and fucked up. Some Undertale stuff was definitely in there as well. And this game seems like it is absolutely continuing that stuff. I'm a little bit disappointed that we're just getting a sequel to Everhood instead of this developer doing something entirely
Yeah.
new and different. Um, while I think the kind of RPG meets rhythm Guitar Hero kind of gameplay is interesting, I still rhythm games are not necessarily my favorite
Yeah.
genre, so I kind of wish we could have kept this style and just found a new
Well, they had
experience with it.
last
But
month too. We had the newest entry from the Necrodancer crew,
yeah,
and it's a lot more Guitar Hero esque this time around. So obviously, these can both exist, and they should because they're different. But I think that game is doing very well, and it's a very like household known name. Not that Everhood isn't, but people might see this and be like, "Well, I'm already playing a pixelated game that kind of does this right now over here." Like,
maybe,
I don't
yeah.
know. We'll see.
I mean, the thing I like, I don't even remember the name of the Necrodancer, the new Necrodancer game, but I do remember the game because they were trying something different. Like,
Yeah.
yes, it is still kind of a rhythm game, but it's taking it in like a different direction than the games that came before,
Yeah.
and I kind of applauded for that. And this one really seems like it's like, okay, we're gonna just kind of keep building on the thing that we had before. And
Yeah.
you know what? If you loved Everhood and you really just want more of that, this game seems like it's giving you that.
Yeah.
So it looks cool. I'm not going to deny that the music's still
There's a
great.
demo out for it right now from the Next Fest that you can check out.
Totally, people should do that. But yeah, I don't know if I need more Everhood. I think playing that first game was enough for me.
Yeah, I
But
think it's fair.
it does look cool.
Totally.
Let's talk about a game we're both pretty excited about.
Yes,
and that
sir.
is Knights in Tight Spaces. As we said, it came out yesterday on PC from our friends at Ground Shatter.
Yeah.
We played a demo of this a long time ago. Is it also got like a next? Well, I guess it didn't get a new demo on the next fest. It just came out.
It had so they'd done 2 demos for it. I don't think I told you. Yeah, I did tell you this. I was beta testing this for a bit before it came out.
That's right. Yeah, you couldn't say some stuff. You had to keep quiet.
Yeah, I could, like, they had an NDA on it, and but I've been playing it for a bit, and I really like what they're doing here. It's a very distinct style. Art wise, it's different than what you're used to. The big thing that they've added into it is equipment cards, and you have consumables now that do some cool stuff. Like, one of them was
and a party, like
totally and a party.
Just you against the world, and this is, now you have is it a group of 3 max?
You can have a group of 3, and then when you start, like, you'll unlock characters on your runs. That's kind of your little carryover for persistency here, and you can choose who you're going to start with. So far, I just have my fighter, and then I just met my sorcerer, and I've got them in the crew now. The one thing they also added in, which this was a mechanic mostly that your enemies had because you didn't have a crew of yourself, but I love this functionality in these tactics games. When you attack somebody, if you have one of your crew next to them, they'll just do a follow-up attack on it. And that is here, and I think that works really well for this style of game. The biggest compliment I can give this, man, is, like, if you enjoyed fights at all, this is just building on that. I mean, it is more of that. It is that at its core, but they've added some really thoughtful enhancements to it. And I did not think this was going to happen. I did not see it coming at all. And thrilled to see that they've got a follow up to it. It looks really fucking cool, and it plays great.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I've love Fights in Tight Spaces. In fact, I probably should play more of that.
It's $5 right now.
Well, I own it, but
yes.
Yeah,
if you're watching currently, $5 on Steam.
But I felt like you and I played so much on streams that I ended up not playing as much on my own, and that's a real shame. I should just have played more of that game.
We had a whole series. If you're watching this, you can go. It was called Monday Nights Are All Right for Fighting in Tight Spaces. We actually did a few streams.
Really short title, yeah.
Yes, really short title. We also have 2 playthroughs with James, the developer of this, where we played a bit with him. So you can go check those on our YouTube channel. There's a little segment for it there. But we're going to be playing a lot more of this one. We are going to be off next week. But when we get back, we got a little bit with the Oberdin still going on. But we're going to play a lot of this for sure. For sure.
Absolutely. Let's move on to the 6th, where Suikoden 1 and 2 HD Remaster, Gate Rune, and the Dunin Unification Wars. That's also very.
That's a lot. God, that's a lot.
But it's two video games, right? So
yeah, it's fair.
It averages out to a normal life. Anyway, Suikoden 1 and 2 HD Remaster is coming to PC, Switch, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X. It puts the first 2 Suikoden games together in one package. These were both PS1 games.
And you're a big fan of these, right?
Yeah, I played 2. I haven't played the first one. But I played Suikoden 2. I think, we didn't have a wheel exactly back in the day, but I did have like a New Year's resolution a number of years ago on the show that was the year of JRPG, or the year of RPGs, and this was one of the
back when we were doing some writing.
Yeah. But this is one of the games I chose for one of the 12 months of JRPGs.
Let
And
me see if I can find it from him. Keep going. You're good.
I'm sure it was a long time ago, and I'm sure
I
it
don't
was a
have
very
those
good
saved anywhere.
episode. Yeah.
Uh,
Um,
I will share this quote because I think you'll get enjoyment from it. Jason
okay.
Schreier said, Suikoden, perhaps best summed up as Pokemon meets Game of Thrones, is one of my favorite video game series. So it's been a pleasure to play through the new remaster of Suikoden 1 and 2, which comes out tomorrow. The bugs are fixed, the entire script is reworked, and it looks gorgeous. Highly recommend it.
Yeah, that's what I've been seeing from reviews that I've read. It sounds like, for the most part they've retained all the good stuff you want, but fixed a lot of the little quality of life stuff
Yeah.
that wasn't in those original games. Suikoden 2 had a not very well loved localization despite the
Got
game
it.
being really good. So having that revised dialogue and revised copy there is
Do you think this is
probably
a
really
day
good.
one pickup for you?
Um, I mean, I'm gonna buy it,
Yeah.
and I want to play through Suikoden 1, and I think this is the best way of doing it. And if I ever did play through Suikoden 2 again, I would probably want to play it on this collection.
Yeah. This is like
So
the way to go.
it's a definite buy. I just don't know
Yeah.
if it's necessarily a day one, because I
Sure.
probably won't be playing it day one. But yeah, I look forward to playing Suikoden 1 sometime. I've heard that it's like a really short RPG, which
Oh,
is interesting to me,
yeah.
especially because
Gladly.
it still somehow has 108 characters to collect.
Yes. Yes.
So like, how do you make a short JRPG with that many fucking characters? Because
Oof.
2 also is not a super long game, but it
Yeah.
also has 108 characters. It's based on a different Chinese novel, not Romance of the Three Kingdoms, called The Water Margin. There's 108. Don't worry about
It's a lot.
it. I'm maybe more interested though in seeing them remaster other Suikoden games.
Oh, sure.
Like everything after 3, it feels like fell off a cliff, and there's a
Yeah.
lot of them, and they just have never really seemed to get any sort of new life. I would like to see Suikoden 3
Yeah.
or 4 or 5 show up somewhere, because those are games that on systems that I never owned, and I've never really gotten to play them, and I don't think they're nearly as well loved as Suikoden 1 and 2, but I still would like them sometime. Come on, Konami.
Maybe
You
they
used to
will.
make video games. Remember when you used to make video games?
No, Konami's back.
Yeah.
They're back, baby.
Yeah, they're back making remasters, or
That's what you're asking for, though.
Other remasters. And yes, I guess that's true.
That's exactly what you just asked for.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, actually, they are making a new Suikoden game. It's just a mobile gacha game instead.
Ah,
so,
damn.
Yep. They're also making a Suikoden anime. There was they did it was a couple days ago. They did a whole hey, we're gonna do a Suikoden press conference, and you're like, well, okay.
They really put the sweek and week to in.
Yes, exactly.
Wow, that was
yes,
bad.
They said oh yes, remember 1 and 2 are coming out real soon, and also we're making an anime, and
here's your slop, kids,
and here's a shitty mobile game that nobody asked for.
Cool. Fun.
Yeah. Let's move on.
Yes.
Also on the 6th, Split Fiction comes to PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X.
Holy shit!
From Hazelight. Hazelight, you might remember as the Joseph Fares
yeah.
studio. He's the guy who did he say
he likes to cuss and flip.
He loves the Game Awards. I can't remember who he said fuck to. Was it fuck EA? Maybe I can't remember.
Maybe
he was unhappy with somebody. He flipped off the camera. Anyway, he's always at the Game Awards now, and they always chide him about swearing, and then he always swears anyway. Anyway, you probably know Hazelight for Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons, or It Takes Two, or do you remember what the
Jailbreak or
what was
A Way Out?
One?
A Way Out.
A Way Out. Yeah. So they've done a handful of these kinds of games, and they've always seemed pretty popular. You've been telling me for the last couple days that this one seems,
dude, this thing is like people are giving this like 9s and 10s. Like I've seen more people say that this is like absolutely going to be a game discussed at Game of the Year this year, and it's not just from outlets. It's a lot of people talking about just how I've seen people go as far to say that this is the greatest co-op game that they've ever played. And while that's a huge
specifically, wow.
this here, and I think that they've done some smart things because, like, I'm curious, but you can only play this with another person. You can do a couch co-op session, or you can do it online. They've done it with their other games, but I was telling you about it. They give you this buddy pass that if I buy the game, which I'm going to, I could send it to you, and I know that you would rather play on your PlayStation, so you can download it on your PlayStation and play it with me on my PC. I really think this could be something that we should do this year. We've not done something like this ever. Like, you and I play a game that's this tandem. But I think that they've got something really special on their hands here, and everything I've read so far. I mean, they've just got a pedigree. Chat's calling it out here now. Like, all their games are fantastic, and they can't wait to play this one. Like, I agree. Like, this looks awesome. I've not played those games. This will be my first one. I've always admired them from the sidelines, but I'm going to try and convince you to hop in here and check it out with me and see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right in that they've been making it easier and easier to have this kind of thing. I think it takes you at a similar kind of buddy pass that you can get.
I think A Way Out did too.
But that is that, like, talking about Monster Hunter Wilds earlier in the show. And then, like, here's this game that is actively going, we're gonna make it easy as fucking possible for you to play with your friends. So
just one of you has to buy it.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That's a cool thing.
Not since the DS days where I was, playing Mario Kart DS and I had my one copy and everybody could download, like, link into my copy and we could all play together. Has the developer been so generous in just trying to get people to play the fucking video game? So I might be convinced to play Split Fiction. I've never cared too much about those games, but I've always heard the hype, and if you're excited about this one,
it's hard to ignore what the internet's saying right now. They could be wrong, but it's $40 or $50, so it's not huge on cost. But if we can both play it, let's do it.
All right. Let's move on to another game that comes out on the 6th, and that is Mainframes, which is on PC and Switch. I just thought this had a neat little premise to it. It's, it kind of takes. Do you remember The Pedestrian? That puzzle
I sure
game?
do. Yeah, loved that game.
It was kind of cool. Like, you were playing on all the little signage
this looks slick.
around stuff, and this, you're not playing as signage. You're playing with, like, computer windows and things like that. But there's a similar kind of rearranging things around the desktop monitor to be able to connect different places together. So I think that looks pretty cool.
Yeah, this looks really
neat. A 2D platformer.
Totally.
I thought it was interesting.
That's super fucking cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Let's move on to the 11th for Wonder Stop, which is coming to PC, PS5, and Xbox Series X. Bobby, I think you wrote more about this one. I saw that it was from the Stanley Parable developer. Oh, that's kind of cool. But when I saw it, I just saw, it's another game with farming. And it's the Stanley Parable guy, so I'm sure it's not just farming. But I kind of saw that and went like, nah, I'll pass.
There's a few other studio vets from other big games that we know on this one as well. There's a demo for it. I played a little bit of the demo. It seems very, very well done. You are apparently a fighter. Like, imagine a warrior type from like an MMORPG type game. It's not necessarily saying that you're from another video game. Yeah. But apparently some bad shit happens. You were a fighter. You kind of work your way to the top, fall from grace, and you run away from your problems. And so it's a very much like, I'm going to go and do something peaceful because I can't be a fighter. And you decide that you're going to start working at this guy's shop here, who you meet, kind of like a meet cute scenario with him. But yeah, you start planting, you're harvesting shit. It is one of those like cozy but dark games. It's how do I say this without being a dickhead? It feels like they're like, oh, we're gonna make the game that gets shown off at all of those shows and become the thing, because it's got a little teeth to it also. But it's cool. Like, I think it's a cool concept. The writing seems sharp. It might be a little teen angsty for my liking as a damn near 40-year-old, but
is this going to end up being like an end of Red Dead Redemption kind of thing, like where your past catches up with you and like you just wanted to be a farming family man?
I think so.
Okay.
But yeah, you're making tea. comes out on the 11th.
Yeah. I'm sure you will tell me more about it when it comes
I don't
out.
know if I'll pick it up right away, but maybe eventually I will.
Okay. On the 13th, we're not going to show this one, but Dungeon of Hinterberg is coming to PS4 and PS5.
Great game.
It's a game that Bobby loves. Cool that it's going to be available for more people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's talk about a game that is
that shouldn't be available to more people.
On the 14th, WWE 2K25 comes to PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X. Okay. I think these games have been pretty boring for a long time now.
Yes.
Not really all that interested. But what I am interested is the wrong word. I'm fascinated by the island, which is a new feature that they are only adding to the newest generation of consoles here. So if you're playing this on PS4 or Xbox One, you do not get the island. But if you're playing on PC, PS5, or Xbox Series X,
Chase, this looks terrible.
Oh yeah. Oh, it looks fucking awful. Like they took like the My Street or My Neighborhood shit that's in NBA 2K25, and they said, what if we just made the dumbest wrestling gimmick themed island of bullshit, and now you can like walk around here with maybe 20 people at a time, and I don't know what the fuck you do. Like I don't know why you keep putting hub world bullshit that just slows the game down.
Yeah.
And I know you can probably skip all of this. And if you play, again, one of the last generation of consoles, you automatically skip all of this because it's not a part of it. But this just feels like some real microtransaction-y garbage bullshit.
Yeah, dude, this looks terrible.
I mean, I know like Nintendo did it better with something like Splatoon, but
better's a generous word.
Well, but I mean, they weren't nickel and dime.
The
way
true.
that these games are, and that had like the places where you could draw on your Wii and
that's true.
Wii U and show people stuff. Like it felt like there was more of a interesting thing to do in like the Splatoon hub world. This just looks like garbage. I wouldn't have put this on the list if they hadn't added this new awful looking island shit, and I just wanted to talk about it. I'm sure the game will continue to be boring. Wrestling games are not very good anymore. Unfortunately, there was a time they were good, and now they're not anymore, and that's too bad. Let's move on. The 18th, 33 Immortals is coming to Xbox Series X, PC, and Xbox Game Pass, as Bobby mentioned earlier. This is not.
There we go.
A different game. Okay. Why don't you tell me about 33?
33 Immortals is a 33-player co-op run-like or roguelike run-based dungeon crawler chase with 33 people.
Exciting.
Imagine taking on hordes of enemies, kind of working the raid mechanics that you would experience from, MMORPGs.
So it's cooperative.
Like it is all cooperative.
Okay, it's not like a Tetris 99 thing.
No. You and 33 other people are in a dungeon, or up to 33 other people, but you're getting loot. And I don't know about builds and classes and all that shit, but this sounds really cool. It's got a nice look to it. It's kind of a isometric cell shaded. It reminds me a bit of like Hades.
Like a Hyperlight Drifter, maybe.
Yeah, for sure. It seems like a fantasy setting, but it looks bullet helly and hard. And I don't know if one person dies, if the whole thing's kaput, or how that plays out. But this is going to be in game preview when it launches, and it is going to be on Game Pass. So there is a high chance. I don't know if it has matchmaking or not. I would hope for a party of 33 it does, but that sounds like it could be really fun.
Yeah, I mean that's an interesting evolution of the form.
Yeah,
that is something different, and that's cool that somebody is making a game like this, that you're not just, because it looks like, just on its face, it looks like any of these other games that you've played. It looks like a Vampire Survivors or whatever, and you're like, okay, sure, I've played that. But the idea that there are 32 other people who are playing it with you, and you're all kind of finding ways of taking on these big challenges, and you get the feel of like a big raid battle.
Yeah,
I think that's cool. That's a neat idea.
Yeah, definitely.
On the 20th, Assassin's Creed Shadows comes to PC, PS5, Xbox Series X, and Mac. I, dude, I feel like we've gone through the drama of this game and the racist bullshit that we've seen from backlashy people, weird fucks like that. But also, that felt so long ago. I thought this game had already come out
It was
and been
supposed
forgotten
to.
about.
It got
Oh,
it got
okay.
bumped. It was originally supposed to come out last year. They pushed it to February. This was after. It was right at the time that Ubisoft had that really bad earnings call, and I think this is not a unique sentiment for me by any stretch. But this is kind of the make or break game for them right now. Like if this comes out and underperforms, I think Ubisoft will not be what we remember them being. But this does look cool. I haven't read into it too much. I saw that they added in a new canon mode for these games, which I think takes a lot of the narrative liberties that they've injected in some of these.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm excited to check this one out. Like I will tell you, this this, Chase, but for those of you watching, Assassin's Creed's like my junk food. Like I've always enjoyed playing these games, but this is the first one probably since Origins that I've been pretty excited about. Like everything I've seen for this looks really great.
So this is the one where they're bucking the trend of that Origin started, right? Like there's no Destiny style gear and bullshit like
No, there
they
is.
had before.
There is. Well, I don't think it's like the other ones, but I think the very big here's a map, go and kind of like discover shit on the map is still the same as what the last three have been. I don't
sure,
think
but that was like that's Assassin's Creed from the beginning.
Yeah, I don't. From what I think Alex Navarro has played this, and it's been a few months that he had a preview of it, and they asked him that question, and I don't think that he said there was like specific things that he picked. I could be misspeaking here, and I apologize if I am, but I don't think it's too far removed from what you've been experiencing with the other ones.
Yeah, the big bummer for me is like this is the Assassin's Creed game I wanted 8 Assassin's Creed games ago,
Sure,
and
fair.
they didn't make it, and then they
Well,
made so many other games that
you
made
also
me
got
stop
Trek
caring about
Coyote
Assassin's
coming out
Creed.
this year.
Yeah,
The sequel to Ghost of Tsushima. Like
yeah.
I don't know. This is a bold move for them. I think it's a cool setting. It's a well-worn one at this point in time. I will absolutely be checking this out. Anybody who's listening and watching, I think it's up to like 15 to 20 bucks a month. You get the best version of whatever the Ubisoft games are. If you are curious about it and you don't want to be out permanently on it, spend the 15, 20 bucks, check it out, and then buy it on Steam down the line if you end up wanting to keep it more permanently and cancel that subscription. But this is a big moment, man. This is a big moment for Ubisoft, and I don't think it'll happen overnight, but I think it will be. If this game comes in hot and does not do well, that is kind of it, in my opinion, for them.
Well, they always have the Beyond Good and Evil 2 fake as fuck trailer that they could just show again.
It's been what, a decade?
It is so incredible how fucking fake that was, and how it was all just a feint to avoid getting bought, and it worked. And it worked. Fucking worked. That's the most amazing thing. Is like that was complete bullshit, and everybody knew it was bullshit.
Yep, everybody knew. Nobody's working on that game.
You brought Joseph Gordon-Levitt out to tell you about how other user-generated shit was going to be in that game. Yeah. Like none of this is real.
Yeah,
all
it's
of
all
this
fake.
Fucking fake.
The biggest fucking paper launch ever.
And corporate America
bought it.
I don't even think it was America. World corporations bought it enough that they were like, all right, we staved off dying at that point. Incredible. No, I mean, if this is it, that would be sad if Ubisoft went away. That was a incredibly huge player in video games for a very long time, and I don't think it's anywhere near what its peak was before, but they still hold a lot of licenses, and that would be really weird if Ubisoft went away.
We are over time, and we got to keep picking it up here. Let's see what we can do.
We'll go a little quicker here. On the 20th, Cataclysmo comes to PC. Bobby, you played
Fuck
a little bit of this.
You played it with me. We did it on Monday night, I think.
Yeah, it seemed pretty cool.
Yeah.
Also on the 20th, Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition comes to the Switch. I think this is the last important Switch game, or
Careful.
important Wii U game. Yes, I know.
Careful.
Non Zelda remake.
Thank you.
I don't even really count that as, but I understand. But I think this is the last Wii U locked video game that
Hey,
you can't
maybe
play
the Switch 2 will actually run this thing well.
Maybe.
You know?
Maybe the Switch 1 will run it well. Probably not, but maybe.
Probably not. Here's hoping.
I've it's big mechs, it's big RPG.
Dude, I don't remember which one it was. I've played one. I own one of these, and I think it's really cool. But
I think you own the third one.
Yeah.
I think you and Johnny played the third one. I tried playing the first one and did not like it.
Yeah.
This one's kind of like a separate thing from the trilogy. But I don't know. I think if I was gonna play one, it would be this one. But I don't know. Let's move on. On the 24th, Dark Deity 2 comes to the PC. So obviously this is my shit. This is some Fire Emblem shit.
I played the demo. It's really good.
I bet it is. I bet it
very
plays
good.
a lot like Fire Emblem. I still need to play the first one. It's on the wheel. Would have been great if it showed up on the wheel this month, but it didn't.
This one's really good.
So I will. It's on my list. I will probably end up buying it, but I still need to play the first one. But hey, it's
somebody's gonna do it.
Too. Looks great. Let's move on to the 20. Did I skip MLB?
I did
skip MLB. That's why. It's like, why do you keep showing this MLB trailer?
Yeah. Okay. It's gone now.
It's fine. MLB's coming out the 18th. It's more baseball. It's whatever. Doesn't matter. I think they're adding like a bunch of QuickTime events to it that I think look like garbage. I don't want.
Great. More games with QuickTime events, please.
Yeah, nobody needs that. I'm sure you can turn all that shit off, but it's whatever. This game though that we're seeing on the 27th is the first Berserker Kazan.
I played the demo for this.
PS5 and Xbox Series X. How is this?
Not for me.
Yeah, I didn't think it was for you.
For multiple reasons, but not for me because it's like a Souls-like.
Yeah, it's very much like a Souls-like, and then the anime stuff.
But don't let this schlub Bobby tell you that, because people who play it, people are really into it, and apparently it's very good. If you're into this, it's very good.
Was this the Game Awards where they showed off this and then another game that are somehow both in the same universe but look completely fucking different?
100%.
Yeah. Okay. I don't even remember what that second game was, but I don't know.
Yeah.
And then we will end it off here on the 27th with Atomfall, which is coming to PC, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, PS4, PS5, and Game Pass. Bobby, you were excited about Atomfall. So
yeah. This is from Rebellion, the people who make Sniper Elite. I don't think I've seen them do much else ever, really.
No,
so
they made a billion Sniper Elite games.
This
they haven't had time for anything else.
No, it's like a Stalker. It's like a Fallout. Apparently, though, like you can fight just about anything and anyone, or de-escalate anything and anyone. This one's set in the British countryside, and it looks very much on its sleeves like it's one of those games, and it probably is. But I'm curious to see what they can do with actual narrative and story, and this type of the first person engagement with it. I really like Sniper Elites. We'll see what this is about. It's on Game Pass. I will be checking this one out for sure. Could be what was Atomic Heart was the one that I was really jazzed about a couple years ago.
Yeah, that didn't go very well for you, did it?
I mean, I beat it, but it was not what I thought it would be. It was pretty, but I'm just wondering if this is going to be more like that or more like an Avowed or Outer Wilds or something.
At the very least, this has like more of a pedigree, knowing the developer and knowing that they've
absolutely
made a lot of Sniper Elite games that you've enjoyed. So
we'll see.
Cool.
We will see.
Let's make some picks. Bobby, I'm going to start with you. What are your
I've picked video games. I have picked Atomfall. I own Cataclysmo, so therefore I will play Cataclysmo. I've picked Assassin's Creed Shadows, and I have been playing Nights in Tight Spaces.
Very cool. On my side, that's Suikoden 1 and 2. I'll definitely pick that up, but I probably will not be playing it this month. Same for Dark Deity 2. I would like to play that first game, but
yeah,
from all accounts, it's totally my shit. I will play that game.
It's cool, man. It's really cool.
And then, of course, I also have Knights and Tight Spaces, which I need to get to at some point very, very soon. But,
yeah, man.
Pretty good month.
Yeah, it's a
interesting stuff.
It's a big one for sure. We'll see what happens there. We'll certainly be telling you our thoughts on those games and maybe even streaming some of them. We've talked about it quite a few times this episode, but we are not going to be live at all next week. I will be out of town. Therefore, we will not have anything happening here. Chase is going to use that time to play Knights and Tight Spaces, I think. That's what he at least told me. But yeah, we will not be here next week, but we have some stuff going on this week, and I have yet to update the schedule the right way again tonight. But I will tell you all. Yeah, this one's an older one. We checked out mostly Monster Train 2 demo on Monday night. Had a good time with that. You should play it if it's still available. Tonight was all about those March video games, and on Friday I'll be back with Monster Hunter Wilds. And then I have.
You know, we went through that whole Outer Worlds, Outer Wilds thing, and now
Worlds and Wilds is back.
Thing
and it's also shitty because, you know, everybody just says MHW.
Sure, yeah.
And now it's like, is it MHW 18 or MHW 25? Like, which one is it now?
It's like when we did God of War and Gears of War. Like,
yes.
Come on, guys.
Yeah.
You can't just assume GOW means God of War. There are other people out here.
I know. But yeah, I'll be playing that on Friday night with my cousin and potential friend of the show, Nick. There.
What if it's MHWO and MHY?
E2. Yeah. But yeah, we'll see. Naming is hard. Chase, you've invited me back to do some stuff with you. I'm excited. That's my weekend plans. What are we going to be doing?
Yeah, we're going to be playing some more Star Wars. In fact, there's some more Star Wars out right now without Bobby.
Without me.
I've played a little bit more of Star Wars Battlefront 2 on my series Go Play a Star Wars. But yes, Bobby will be returning as I potentially finish that game.
I would love to be there for it.
We'll be able to finish it in one more episode, but I think we can get really close.
Yeah.
So we're almost done with Go Play a Star Wars, and then I'll have to find something else to play on 58 Plus. But until then, go check out Go Play a Star Wars. It's been a lot of fun.
Very cool.
And then Pierce and I finally have scheduled a date to record our pilot program episode on Columbo, and we're going to be recording that next week. So look forward to that maybe in a week and a half or so for me to get the edit up there for everybody. But Pilot Program is a fantastic podcast about watching the first episodes of every television show ever made and talking about what they did and why they did it. I think that's really fun. And Pierce is a great co-host for that. And Bobby's been on that show before.
It's a lot of fun.
So obviously Bobby loves it too. Go check out all this.
Hell yeah. All right, y'all. That's our week. We will be off next week. Play video games. Tell us about